Good morning and welcome to Blackstone Chronicles, broadcasting from Blackstone, the center of the world, but then you too are at the center of the world. The title of today's talk is, What Does It Matter? And this started out this morning writing about my Buddha pond. About 17 years ago, a friend of mine, Guy Bernard, designed and built a two-layered pond in my backyard with a pump that goes from the lower to the upper and then back down around the stream. And the original koi are still in there, a few of them, the big ones about like that. And but about a year after the pond was installed, a big old bullfrog appeared and would sit in the Buddha cup. I have a Buddha pond Buddha, has a little cup, little bowl, and it would sit in there. And I could come right up to it and take a picture. No other frog does that. Every frog, when you approach the pond, plop. You hear that plop, hits the pond. Where's the frog? I don't know. I guess I've got one. I heard a plop. You know, but that Buddha pond, or that Buddha frog, would sit there. And then he disappeared. But he's always been with me. And this Zen haiku basically is the haiku for my Buddha frog. It's very simple, very famous by Basso. An old pond. Now imagine an old pond. It's still, mature, quiet, still. A frog leaps. Plop. Plop. Now, when this is written, usually you put in parentheses around the plop. It's in capital letters. You put that in plop as the sound. So there are two elements here. There's the visual, an old pond. And you see a frog leaps. That's over there. An old pond over there, a frog over there. Plop. Now in the sound, this, where are you? In other words, this is a Zen koan, this haiku. It contains a tension that can explode with awakening if you can penetrate it. When somebody calls your name, suppose you are doing your yada yada, you're engrossed in something, and somebody shouts, Ed, or whatever your name is, Ed, and you turn. You turn. What? That Ed, that name is the plop. So an old pond is where you're at. An old world where you think I'm here and everything out is there. I look at my room here, or this is in the foyer, and everything is out there. Everything is named, it's round. And somebody shouts, Ed! And I will look to see who is shouting Ed. But in the shout, in the plop, where is the old pond? Where is the room? And where am I? In the plop, in the sound, a backfire goes off on your road, a gunshot. There's a crash in the kitchen, a sharp noise, plop, you see. In that moment, where are you? In that moment, in that sound, can you divide the cause and the effect? Can you divide the world and me, the out and the in? Is there any division, any out and in the sound, you see, in the plop? Now this plop is, in Zen, is the aroused mind You are aroused in the plop. When somebody shouts your name, you are aroused. Now, is that arousal different from the mind that is looking around for the cause out there, you see? In the aroused mind, is there any out there and in here? You're sitting on the front porch. You're listening to a bird. Now, normally we'll say, oh, is that a robin? Oh, what a pretty sound. And the mind goes on, yada, 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 talking about the sound, thinking about the sound. The robin is out there. It's all out there. I'm in here. It's out there. But if you drop that and you go into the haiku, or you go to the Buddha pond, to the Buddha frog, if you go to the plop, is there a difference between the robin and you? Is there a difference or a division between the hearing, I hear, and the heard? We often do this. You can do this on your own. You sit on the front porch, sit in the backyard, listen to a sound. Listen to the cicadas. If you really listen, you can kind of like drop out of the old pond and you can leap into the sound. We do this with music sometimes. You go to a concert, you listen, suddenly the division between I'm listening to music out there drops away and you are the music. Or if you go to a dance, the wedding receptions, I always talk about this because I was a wedding photographer. And when the wedding dance, at the reception, when the dance starts, the women jump in and become the dance. And the men are standing, whoa, and they're back, come on in, come on, plop, come on, plop with me, plop, plop, plop. The sound, be the sound. Oh no, I need a little more liquor. And then after they get liquored up, they jump in. And we experience this all the time, where you become the music, you become the dance, you become the sound, where there's no division. So when you are in that state, when you are in that plop, metaphorically speaking, it doesn't matter what you do. That's why dancing, I grew up, my youth was when dancing was formal. You had the foxtrot, you got the waltz, you got the waltz, you got the rumba, you got all these dances. And when I got married, I didn't know how to dance, so I went to Fred Astaire dance studio and learned all the steps. So then when it was time to dance, I felt secure because I had a form. I had a step. I wouldn't be afraid of what will people think. He doesn't know what he's doing, But then, you remember in the 60s when the twist came? All right. Well, now you're dancing separate. And the next thing you do, you just doing your own step. That used to freak me out because I didn't have my Fred Astaire to fall back on. I didn't have my dance step to protect me from what will people think. There's an idiot out there. I think Seinfeld made a skit about that where Elaine was an ugly dancer. So we're afraid of the plop, because in the plop, in the sound, in the dance, it doesn't matter what you do because you are the dance. You are the plop. You are the moment. You are the music. So it doesn't matter what. You're free from self-consciousness. You're free from the split mind who is looking at me in the form of the audience, making me feel self-conscious. Or the deer in the headlight, or stage fright, you see. So in the plop, the mind is not split. The mind is one. The mind is one with the plop, with the dance, with the moment, you see. But this is very difficult to maintain and live because the dance is over and we're back into my personality, my split mind, with the others looking at me, and I want them to like me, or why are you looking at me? All that split mind stuff, you see. But for that moment in the plop, it didn't matter what you do, because you're free. It doesn't matter what you do, so you can do anything. It doesn't matter. That's the great liberation. In Zen, this is called the awakening of the faith mind. You leap into the dance, into the plop, into the sound, into the moment without fear, because you are the moment. See, in the plop, you are the plop. You're not separated from it. In the sound, you are the sound. So this is a metaphorical way of saying you are the world and the world is you, so you can do what you want because you are the world and the world is you. That's a viewpoint. But there's still the other viewpoint, of the world is out there and I'm in here, and we have to keep that viewpoint because it's the only way we can function in the world. It has to be out there. If I'm going to catch a bus, the bus has to be over there, and where I'm going has to be in the future. All that is a viewpoint that is necessary for functioning in the world. But it leaves us in a state of separation and suffering, and the pain of self-reflection, the split mind, you see. But there are moments when the frog leaps, plop, and you are the sound, you are the leap, you are the pond, and you're free. Thanks for dropping in. Have a nice weekend. See you tomorrow.